125th anniversary of Baba Saheb Ambedkar. We're gathered here to pay homage not only to Baba Saheb Ambedkar but also to Rohit Vemula. This is not a usual celebration. It is a celebration that also subsumes a lot of painful memories, but I wouldn't really want to dwell on it for today. I would like to say a few words about the language of hope and the language of the future which Baba Saheb Ambedkar had made available. I strongly believe that one of the reasons why we are not able to realize the dreams of Baba Saheb Ambedkar is he dwelt into the future, and it is going to be a long struggle, and there will be many more Rohit Vemulas along the way who will inspire us to this destination, which for now has been in very difficult times. A few words about my own stay on this campus. I've been here for more than 18 years, and I've been closely associated with the Ambedkar Students Association. For all the faults, I think this is one of the few student organizations anywhere in the country which has crystallized some ways of understanding society, of understanding privileges, of understanding discrimination, and has been constantly voicing a sort of cultural movement, a sort of a cultural revolution, if I have to. It is not an exaggeration that they have been at the forefront of changing the nature of a Brahmanic, a Savarna mode of pedagogy. And this is a very difficult project, but I think they have had a really good innings in some sense of the word. And today, if Rohit Vemula represents something, it is this idea of a cultural revolution. It is not, due respect to Professor Periyasamy, it's not only about fellowships, scholarships, etc., which will actually give us a space in this sort of elite institution, but also in some ways transform the space, a space where you're not looked at differently, a space where you could comfortably sit and accepted as a fellow student, a fellow teacher, etc. Now, this has been a long struggle, especially feminists would know that it's not been an easy struggle for them. And so, the Dalits also, through this association, I'm talking about the Ambedkar Students Association, have in more than one ways tried to provide an alternate way of thinking about society, thinking about pedagogy, thinking about a future India. I thank JAC, I thank ASA. I also, in some ways, pay my homage to Rohit Vemula. His profound letter that he left for all of us, and I think we will be talking about it for more than us. I don't know how many decades that letter is going to be pregnant with meaning, and it's not going to be easily deciphered. We are still in witnessing the experience and participating in the experience. It's difficult for us to stay out of the experience and think about what has happened. With these few words, I thank JAC for organizing this event and giving me an opportunity.
From the beginning of the moment, I think UHD and also Faculty Forum, SST Faculty Forum was with us in this moment. On behalf of SST Faculty Forum, I'd like to request Wilson Naik sir to speak.
On this event of 125th birth anniversary of our great leader and father of our constitution. Very sad to celebrate in this situation of struggle, but with lot of hope what Rohit has ignited entire, not only Indians but internationally, what a Dalit struggle is. And I appreciate everyone who are part of this struggle, educating everyone, as Prof Swami said and Thirumal was pointing out. What all Rohit has written, it would be very hard to understand, and whatever he was written, like, I think he is really a star to entire community. And I think we need to constantly look at those stars and then remind ourselves where we stand, where our roots stand, and what we are really giving back to our own people. And what a tremendous organization JAC has been shown to the entire community, and the concerned teachers, faculty also has been strengthening and giving lot of intellectual inputs. I think this is how what the constitution has been given us, that we have to fight for our rights and then to achieve what been thousands of years of people were in struggle and then still struggling in this age of people were thinking to skip out of this earth to other planets, still been rotten here. So I feel we need to take this forward and then remember what all our great leader has given us strength to fight the rust of people's minds. With these few words, I thank the forum of this event today, Prashant and other Joint Action Committee members. Jai Bhim.
Thank you, sir. Now we would like to request Professor G. Vijay from Democratic Teachers Network and also from all the affiliations that sir has fixed in.
Friends, I think this is a moment where in some sense we are realizing some of the ideals. This is a process that's inevitable. So in that sense, I think this is the substance of the whole celebration of life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and I'm sure that we will be able to establish a certain kind of a tradition of struggle. And it's always tough to change the social order. We know that the kind of rigidity and the kind of response that those in power are giving, with reference to the kind of ideas that are being expressed by the struggle about the current administration, about the current attitude of power. But I think this is an inevitable process where, irrespective of the outcome, the struggle itself has a lot of intrinsic value, because this is the kind of struggle that future generations will draw their inspiration from. And in that sense, it's a great struggle that the students community, the teachers community has carried on. It's not just about one individual who has died on our campus. It's about several individuals who die on a day-to-day basis, whose names are not really known. But this is about that life. This is about how to really, overcome the intense struggle that's for many what is a normal life. And in that sense, having come to an elite institution like this, having passed through the great barriers, yet it seems as if the life comes back in the same form. And that is the real tragedy of the institutions of higher learning, that we are unable to really cause this social transformation, despite the fact that these are seen as modern institutions, institutions of higher learning. I think there is some education that all of us need to learn much beyond what we do in the classrooms. And it is that education perhaps that is on outside the classrooms. And it's a constant learning that we need to make, more to unlearn things that we have picked up, the kind of attitudes, the kind of prejudice, the kind of exercise of arbitrary power with respect to the way that our students were punished despite the fact that there was no evidence. So it's actually tarnishing the whole idea of how justice has to work. It has been a very difficult path, because continuously and constantly what we are trying to say is the relevance of the Constitution. So in essence, all these transformative struggles have ultimately come to a point where protecting the Constitution is also in some sense their responsibility, in as much as aspiring to reach the stars. So in that sense, from the minimalist position, which is that the existing rulers don't seem to have respect for any of those norms that are there enshrined in the Constitution. And it is their power that they seem to be asserting, in a sense, although I wouldn't like to say it, but shamelessly, despite the fact that continuously an entire community says we don't trust you, we have no faith in you. It's such a shame that the ruler continues in some sense. So this is where I think we feel a bit ashamed of the kind of institutional structure that we have come up with over the years. That a large number of teachers who are now in a sense fence sitting must voice. It is their social responsibility. It's about their conscience. It's about the kind of views and ideas that they articulate very aggressively, maybe otherwise. But this is a moment when you are expected to come out and speak up. Otherwise, I think they will have to feel guilty of actually perpetuating a certain kind of arbitrary power in the future, and they will be held accountable for the kind of silence that they are maintaining. And I think this is a moment when we ask for those voices to come out in the open and join the movement. Thank you very much.
From this, we will now go to administrative building, and there we'll have to offer tributes to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and from there we shall come back and then board into the bus, and we'll go to library and administrative building, and then we will march to Tank Bund. And I request Kavya to come and offer the concluding remarks of this in remembrance of Rohit Vemula.
Jai Bhim all. On behalf of Joint Action Committee, I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor Periyasamy and all the professors and fellow students who have come here to remember Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and who have paid floral tributes to him. So I thank all of you once again for gathering here. For maybe this is the first time we have this crowd here, all the students from all the organizations, professors from all the departments who gathered here. And in fact, this is what Rohit wished. Whenever we used to discuss about Ambedkar Jayanti this time, Rohit always wished that we all should this time go to Diksha Bhumi and take part in the conversion events there. So we are very happy to hear that Rohit's mother and brother is this time in Diksha Bhumi. Rohit was in fact insisting on the fact that we should all go this time to Diksha Bhumi. In fact, his mother and brother was there to fulfill his wish. So we are all very happy to hear the news, and I thank once again all of you for gathering here. Now we'll march to the administration building. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Johar Dr. B.R.
Professor Prabhakar has some announcement to make about Eklavya.
Yeah, just a small announcement. Today we are going to have Eklavya Speaks at 7 p.m. here once we are back. So we are going to discuss about discrimination in University of Hyderabad. And also we have requested Professor Ratnam to bring a few copies of the book that he co-authored against the RSS appropriation of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, which is one of the reasons why he has been targeted in recent times. He doesn't have too many copies, so we will not be able to distribute the copies, but we are trying to get in touch with the publisher to get more copies here and so that we can all read.